Hello everyone, V from Movie Center here. So today I'm gonna explain an action crime drama film from 2020 called Angie, Lost Girls. We see Angie, a confident and carefree 16-year-old hanging out with her younger sister Maddie. But while they are enjoying their day, another woman named Rachel is grappling with a nightmare scenario. Rachel has just helped Zoe, a victim of human trafficking, escape her past and experience a real birthday for the first time. But just as Zoe begins to believe she can have a normal life, a ruthless criminal named Deacon arrives to ruin everything. He brandishes a knife and abducts Zoe, leaving Rachel to frantically call the police and search for any leads. Meanwhile, Angie and Maddie's busking performance attracts the attention of a kind stranger named Mario, who donates money to their cause. One day, Angie was walking home from school, minding her own business, when suddenly she hears footsteps approaching her. The next thing she knows, she's got the suave and charming Mario in her face, asking if she'd like to hang. She couldn't resist those dimples, so she agreed. At the park, Mario starts laying on the charm thick, telling Angie that her voice is something special. And boy, did it work. Angie is smitten and they spend hours talking and laughing, getting to know each other. Days turn into weeks, and before Angie knows it, she and Mario are an item, meeting every day after school. The tension is building and the attraction is undeniable. And then one night, Mario sends Angie a message, asking her to meet him at his favorite spot. Sneaking out of the house, Angie makes her way to Mario, her heart pounding with excitement. He takes her to a hidden corner of the park and drops the bomb. His uncle is in the music biz. Mario sees something special in Angie and wants to help her chase her dreams. With a twinkle in his eye, he leans in and whispers, "I'll always be here for you, Angie," which is kind of creepy. But anyway, with that, they share a kiss that seals their fate. Angie's big day at school finally arrives and she's already feeling down in the dumps. Her parents, always busy bees, can't even make it to see her sing. But lucky for her, she's got Mario on speed dial. He swings by to pick her up and tries to lift her spirits, like a brand new bra, with the news of his uncle's arrival in town. Angie is not so sure she wants to go, but Mario's got away with words and convinces her to join him, promising that his uncle will be blown away by her incredible singing talent. But little does Angie know, Mario has an ulterior motive. As they are leaving, he slyly sneaks her phone out of her bag and tosses it aside. And when they finally meet Mario's uncle, Angie's in for a shock. It's actually Deacon, the very same criminal who kidnapped poor Zoe. Deacon greets Angie with false excitement, claiming how eager he and his colleagues are to hear her voice. Little does she know she is about to face a nightmare in the form of a music producer named Rob. As she begins to sing, Rob's sleazy hand starts roaming, leading to a brutal and heinous act of rape. The truth is revealed. Angie has been sold by Mario to the highest bidder, with Rob being just one of the clients. The next morning, she is met with a cruel ultimatum by a woman named Ida, who shows her a recording of the horrifying night before, blackmailing Angie to obey or face the consequences of the video being shown to her parents. Meanwhile, Angie's worried parents file a missing person report, searching desperately for their daughter, who has vanished for 2 long days. But their nightmare is far from over, as Ida prepares Angie for yet another client. Desperate and broken, Angie begs for help from the man, but instead he takes advantage of her vulnerable state. Just when all hope seems lost, Zoe steps in to help Angie, promising to keep her safe. But Deacon, the mastermind behind this sick operation, warns Angie and the other girls that this is their fate now. The more they comply, the better off they'll be, or else face the wrath of his brutal punishment. Mario visits Angie, warning her to play along with her dangerous game. He drops a bombshell. He's also a captive, forced to do their bidding or face the consequences. Angie better comply or risk losing both Mario and his mother, along with her own loving parents. Zoe, on the other hand, has no family to speak of. Shuffled from one cruel foster home to the next, only Rachel showed her kindness, but Zoe knows Angie's parents are searching for her and urges her to cling to hope. Detective Chase delivers the heart-wrenching news to Angie's parents. Her daughter has been trafficked and sold online. The local gang behind the abduction is identified, and a sting operation is planned for the coming weekend. Meanwhile, Mario lures another unsuspecting woman, Zelda, with false promises of bartending work. All the girls are relocated, but it only leads to further horrors for Angie as a client savagely tortures her with a burning cigarette. As the weekend approached, the police sent in a rookie to verify Angie's presence. Little did he know Deacon was one step ahead and quickly saw through the disguise. With a swift knock to the head, the undercover agent was neutralized, and Deacon made a daring escape with all the captive girls. Deacon issued a chilling threat to the girls, warning that any attempts to escape would result in the brutal murder of their families. The girls were trapped, living in fear under Deacon's watchful eye. However, fate intervened when Deacon sold Angie to a shady client. Zoe, ever the protective friend, overheard the transaction and urged Angie to make a break for it. The girl seized the opportunity and fled into the night, but Deacon wasn't willing to let them go so easily. Zoe was captured and dragged back, but Angie managed to slip away, spending a restless night in a nearby playhouse. The next morning, Angie was discovered by kind strangers and rushed to the hospital. Detective Chase soon confirmed her identity and reunited her with her long-lost family. But the trauma of her captivity lingered, and Angie was scared and unable to recognize her once loving parents. Rachel breaks the news to Angie's unsuspecting parents that their daughter has been through hell and needs some TLC before they can bring her home. As Rachel watches over Angie's recovery, she spots the bracelet she gave Zoe, and realizes that Zoe was with Angie the whole time. Desperate to find her, Rachel pleads with Angie for information, but Angie is too traumatized to remember anything, let alone help. She feels lost and alone, like she doesn't belong anywhere. Detective Chase wants to question Angie about what happened to her. He wants to put an end to the torture these girls have been subjected to, and needs Angie's cooperation. But Angie is too scared to talk, feeling that the walls are closing in on her. Ida's paranoia spikes at the thought of Angie spilling their secrets to the police, so she sent Deacon to silence her once and for all. One day, Angie attends a gathering filled with survivors just like her. She meets a woman who reveals she was also a victim of the same ruthless trafficking gang. But now she is on a mission to bring them down and give her testimony in court. Angie is inspired by her bravery and wants to help, but fear grips her heart at the thought of the gang harming her loved ones. Tragically, before she can even act on her desires, the woman is snatched from their meeting by the gang's leader, Deacon. Meanwhile, the evil Ida warns Mario that his mother's knife hangs in the balance unless he brings Angie back to their clutches. Angie flips on the TV and feels a sickening knot form in her gut as she sees her worst fear confirmed. The remains of the woman she had encountered earlier have been found and identified, but the real blow comes in the form of a menacing message delivered anonymously to Angie's phone. The sender threatens to harm her beloved sister if Angie continues to aid the police in their investigation. "This is it," she whispers to Rachel, holding up the phone for her to see. "They are trying to lure me back. I can feel it." But Rachel is a survivor just like Angie. She has seen the horrors of human trafficking and knows all too well what these monsters are capable of. "You're not alone," Rachel reassures her. "I was trafficked too, and I got out. I'm here to protect you and help you." With those words of encouragement, Angie finds the courage to stand tall and face her fears. She meets with Detective Chase, her voice shaking as she recounts the atrocities committed against her. "I was raped 20 to 30 times a day," she confessed. Tears streamed down her face. "Whenever I try to fight back, they beat me, hurt me, and brutalized me. I'm tired of hiding, of feeling helpless. I want to see those men locked up for what they have done." Detective Chase is a seasoned pro who won't be deterred by a criminal like Deacon. He swiftly moves Angie's parents to a safe house away from harm's reach, but little does he know, Deacon's reach is long and his tactics are dirty. Angie, the brave young woman she is, she spills the beans on Deacon's hideout to Detective Chase. With this information, Chase arms Angie with a tracking device because he's not taking any chances. But fate takes a cruel twist, and Nala, the woman Rachel has been caring for, betrays them all. She sends Angie's number straight to Deacon, putting her in the line of fire. Deacon, the monstrous criminal he is, demands Angie to come to him or he'll take her sister instead. Detective Chase quickly realizes Angie's gone missing and rallies the troops. Rachel discovers Nala's treachery and won't let her get away with it. She forces Nala to reveal the location of Ida and Deacon, determined to bring them down. Angie spots Mario waiting for her, a glimmer of hope shining in her eyes. She tries to convince them to turn themselves in and seek protection from the police. But Mario's loyalty to his criminal associates runs deep, and he drags Angie away, leaving her cell and GPS behind. Ida and Deacon are relentless in their interrogation, using violence to try and extract information from Angie, but she remains steadfast even as they take the life of Mario before her very eyes. Just as they are about to make a getaway with Angie and the other captive girls, the police storm the scene, guns blazing. Deacon meets his end in a hail of bullets while Ida is finally brought to justice. Rachel is overjoyed to be reunited with Zoe, but the search for Nala's little one continues. The heart-wrenching reality sets in that the baby was likely sold by Ida. Angie's parents are beyond relieved to have their daughter back, but as Angie gazes upon the wall of missing person posters, her words cut through the celebration. What about them? And so this was the story of Angie Lost Girls. See you in the next hunt.